Hello, friends, and welcome to the Mr. Pick Me and
Hi.
the Manhater podcast.
She hates this man.
I am Regan, aka the Manhater.
I don't think Reagan did hate men until she did a podcast with me.
You know what? It didn't help.
I am doing my best to make us not liars.
Well, and you're Mr. Pick Me, even though you've already been picked.
Yep. Chesko is my name.
You're actively annoying a woman, so. Yeah, I don't think you are a pick me because
No.
you're actively getting me to punch you.
I need to finish the rhyme or it's gonna be in my head. Ask me again and I'll tell you the same. Chesko is my name.
Oh. I'm sorry. I totally forgot the first line there. I was like,
It's okay. It was in my head, and if I didn't say it, it was gonna be like
you're
held
gonna
in
think
the
about it the
sneeze
whole,
the
whole
entire
show.
show. I'm like, I gotta say it. How do I work this?
Ask me again and I'll tell you the same.
Third time. What?
What? What are you talking about? Nothing.
I'm at the doctor's office later. Like, what?
Like checking her in, you're like, I'll tell you the same.
Same. So I've been holding that in for hours.
Well, Chesko, what else can you tell me? What are we doing today?
Today we're going to talk about men almost, I don't know how to say this, about apparently a widespread problem with men putting them and their families at risk while driving cars in this for the sake of being manly. Theme song.
You want bad advice, man? I'll give it out gladly. I got some good advice for you. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't. I got some good advice for you. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't. Shit.
If you ever start speaking in rhyme, I love the good rhyme, but I'm out of here.
Well, I guess I'm no longer inviting you to be a part of my musical theater improv podcast.
That's this one. We literally do it all the time.
So sorry. By the way, all right, before I get into the video, I want to share. So the other day, we're just talking about your brain remembering stuff at the wrong and opportune times.
Sure.
I've been fighting for my life not to do this, but I had a memory pop into my head from 17 years ago. So this is a long time ago. It was I'm not going to be too specific about it. But it was nothing bad. It was just something awkward that happened. And I remember someone looking at me and getting mad at me and like walking away or like feeling really annoyed with me
Okay.
and me being very confused at the time. And I realized that what it was. It's because I have a couple weird verbal, like nonverbal stims,
Okay.
or like kind of tics that I do, like rolling my eyes, one of them. I have these tics, especially when I get really tired or nervous or have a lot of anxiety that come out. And I realized that they thought I was like openly mocking them. And it just clicked 17 years later. And I'm in bed about to fall asleep.
Like,
and I went,
oh my God.
that's what happened. They're not even a friend. I know who they are because it's somebody very specific to the college that I was at, that I know where they were. I know how to find this person. Okay. And they're not going to remember.
Please don't find them 17 years
I am
later.
fighting for my life to be like, hey, do you remember in 2007 when this happened? No. Well, can I explain to you?
I guarantee you they'd be like, what? What are you talking about?
What the fuck are you?
Who are you? Do you have a podcast? What is this?
I don't. Is this a joke? Is this a prank?
So when I think really hard, like I get lost in my head a lot. I stare. The amount of times I have been making eye contact when I come back into my own body, I'm like, oh shit, sorry. No.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at you. I'm sorry. I'm not staring at you.
That's the people watching aspect of me too is so where I'll realize it sometimes that I've just been like staring at but like you're right though, there'll be times where I will just kind of drift off into my Chesko space, and I realize
nightmares.
Like I'm at a coffee shop and just kind of like thinking about something,
staring
and I
off.
realize, oh God, I swear to you, I was not creepily just focused on your face or staring at your knees, like I used to start
He's
looking at
a
my
knee creeper.
oh God. There's a guy that goes up. There's a man. We're gonna get to our topic today at some point. I swear. There's a I'm responsible for my own algorithm online. I want to admit that and take ownership of this. There's a guy
Okay.
that goes up to people and acts creepy, and he says, "Hey, how's it going there? I just noticed you over there. You noticed you had a nice set of knees." And it's not like he's going up to like random old men and like other people, and he's like, and the guys are always like, "What?" He's like,
Huh?
I just I noticed I'm a photographer. And
Ew.
I do you got a nice pair of caps there, kneecaps. And he'd show them and he'd like flip through his phone and it's a bunch of knees. And
No.
more
No,
than
no.
once, this random and it I don't think they're good enough actors for it to feel like this real, but more than once they would agree and let him take a picture of their knees.
Yeah, women be like, absolutely not. I don't know
Right. And it
what
was
you're
all, yeah,
into, sir.
the videos I saw were all men he was
The men
approaching.
are like,
And
oh, well,
oh,
sure,
well,
surely. You've noticed my knobby knees.
my,
Well, please
I've
take a
never,
photo.
that is so funny that they're like, you like my knees?
Oh my God.
You.
Stop. Stop it. Let me just
There's
show
another,
you.
there's a less weird one of a guy that goes up to people in stores and he goes, hey, look at this cutie patootie right here. And guys are like, what?
Me?
Me?
I mean, men do. There is a
Mhm.
thing about giving men random compliments that they seem to really be like, oh. Oh. Also, why
Mhm.
is your feed just men going up to other men and saying strange
I am
things?
responsible for my own algorithm. My humor is very
Unique.
unique.
You
There's
knee?
oh,
Oh
there it
my
is. Wah,
God.
wah, wah.
Let's talk about weirdos. Come on.
Okay, so in today's video, there is it's a woman. She's driving with her husband, and it's raining, and there's water all on the windshield,
Ooh.
and she just writes in text. Anyone else's husband refused to use windshield wipers, and it stresses you out because you can't see. And so my wife showed this to me.
What?
She was like,
That
she was
can't
like,
be a
what?
thing.
Yeah, that can't. She was like, what? Of course not. So she was like, oh my God, I have to show you this. That's what she's sitting there. My wife's sitting next to me, and there's a poll in the comments says, does anybody else's husband not use the windshield wipers? If I can't see, how can he? 76% of the respondents said their husbands do not use windshield wipers.
Why? Why? Why would you
I,
not use windshield wipers? You like
it's
it just wipes the windshield. Like only ladies use
only
windshield
ladies need
wipers.
it. I can see through.
A waterfall.
Real men don't need wipers to assist them while they're driving. My ancestors didn't have windshield wipers when driving
These
their.
men are absolute like liabilities. Like they don't use windshield wipers. They won't ask for directions. Like, come
It is.
on.
It is abs. Someone said that her husband says he sees better when they're. And I was like, I think your husband needs glasses.
No, that is a guy who can't
Uh,
admit that like
yeah,
he needs help, and so he's like, actually, when there's buckets of water on the windshield, I actually think I see better. I
I think
think I
it's
actually can see clearer.
actually. Well, I feel like this started where it's like one time for every one of these men. I'm gonna generalize for all of it,
Love
where
it.
they forgot to turn on the windshield wiper, and their wife said, "Did you forget to turn the windshield wiper?" And they're like,
No,
"No, don't
shut
tell
up.
me how to drive. I'm a
You know what?
man."
I like it. I like when there's water. I feel like Aquaman.
Yeah, that's their reality now that they have to live in
Yeah.
because they either have to admit that they forgot to turn on their wipers, or
Safety of their family be damned.
no. And somebody said that it's like, you mean my husband's not the only one who does this? Finally, I found my people. While you're too busy looking at the water, he's looking through the water. He can see just fine.
Who
The
said that?
guy that wrote that.
I'm sorry, but like you cannot see better through
No,
water than you can see through no water.
no.
Sorry. That's just a fact.
The amount of things that are guy things that are just harming self-harm is so bad. Like there are guys that are like, I can't use lotion.
They don't wipe their
don't wipe their butt. I mean, we don't have to bring that up again. That's
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
the amount of God, infections probably men have that they're hiding against.
Oh my God. It's like
we talk about misogyny and the patriarchy harming everyone. It's like these guys are like, they could have a better life.
If they could
you could see when you're driving.
There's a better life where you can see.
Someone said, my husband can't find condiments in the fridge. I know he can't see with all that damn rain. I think my husband does it to piss me off. And then when it stops raining, he keeps the wipers on squeaking on the dry glass.
Why are they little baby children? Stop it. Like, oh God. It's like, this is to punish you for wanting me to see while driving so we don't all die.
You know, I actually wonder if that's a part of it too. If they notice that their wife is uncomfortable or the person driving with them and it's a power trip thing.
I think a lot of things are a power trip.
It's like, look at this. Look at this. You're uncomfortable. You're scared right now. I like you being scared. Oh God, that's creepy, but it's true probably.
Probably. Well, or like
a part of it.
I do think they get off on that uncomfortable. Like, I'm not uncomfortable and you are. So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Do you have more on that or can I tell you something?
No, we can go.
So speaking of like the hoops men have to jump through to prove their masculinity, there was a company coming out for makeup for men. So okay. I guess men can't use the other makeup.
No, it burns our skin.
It burns us.
I tried putting foundation on once for a show and I almost died.
It turned into glitter immediately.
Oh, it was so wild. All of a sudden I started kissing all these my male castmates. It was weird. Never again. It was the makeup that did it. The makeup, the fumes from the makeup. It put me in a hypnotic.
Anyways.
I don't know if it's the makeup talking, John, but you have beautiful eyes.
John, I don't know if this is my eyeliner or just my eyes, but god damn, do you look striking in that leotard.
Has anyone ever told you how pretty your lips are?
I want to put my mouth on your mouth.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Let's try something. Someone goes, what's going on here? It was the makeup.
It's makeup.
It's so beautiful. I couldn't tell the difference.
I thought it was the lady.
Oh, that's what it was.
Oh my God. Okay. So there was a brand that made makeup for men. Would you like to guess the brand's name?
All right, makeup for men. I mean, man up. No, man up. War paint. War paint. Is it something like that?
It's war paint.
No, you're kidding.
It's literally called war paint because if a man's gonna wear makeup, he's gotta call it war paint. Like,
it'd be one thing if it was like actual commando paint, like they're camouflaging themselves.
It's foundation.
Foundation.
Can you imagine, like, a man talking to a soldier and he's like, yeah, I had my war paint on. And the guy's like, me too. Like, oh, what's your shade?
Complete tangent. My favorite, or one of my favorite dad jokes is when someone's wearing like camouflage print somewhere. Like if they have like camouflage pants on, you walk, where are your legs?
Have you seen, oh my God, there was like a girl and a guy, like I think they were just kind of starting to date and flirt, and they were Snapchatting each other, and he was wearing camo pants. And so she made the joke. She's like, oh, where are your legs? I can't see your legs. And he's like, fuck you, bitch. I work out every single day. How dare you say that to me? And she's like, it was a camo joke.
He's so insecure. I don't skip leg day.
I do leg day every day.
I'm going to do leg day every day.
Okay, listen to this war paint. Okay, hold on. Our mission, because Lord knows men need a mission.
Of course.
They're going to wear makeup.
Yeah. If you choose to accept it.
Oh, God, you too can take on the terrorist of redness. and acne. Makeup isn't only for women, and neither's confidence. It's for everyone that wants it. And if you want a men's brand that speaks to you, looks fucking cool in your bathroom, and stands for something more than just products, we've got your back. Like, stop. Stop it. Fucking stop it. That's insane. Just to get men to wear makeup.
That is absolutely absurd.
War paint? Oh
what,
my
do
God.
they? What kind of products are they? Is it all just standard?
Game changer moisturizer.
No.
Concealer, tinted moisturizer, foundation, face sponge, anti-shine powder, bronzer, couple brushes, a bag.
I was hoping they would have better titles for them instead of like concealer.
Yeah.
Like it would be like silencer. Or like anti-shine powder would be like
Gay away. I'm gay, so I can say that.
Yeah, to be clear, if you're a first-time listener, I did not make. If you couldn't tell the difference between our voices, that was Reagan.
That was me. That was me.
Face sponge. I don't know. They just have no. They really missed out on an opportunity here. They could have taken some time. Like we're riffing here, but beard and brow gel, like what? Like bush enhancer. No way.
I know. It's a different product, Chesko.
Oh,
I feel
man.
like the sponge could be like sponge knuckles.
Yeah. Sponge knuckles.
Like brass knuckles, but sponge.
Sponge knuckles. Use your sponge knuckles to
Punch the gay away into your skin.
Or makeup remover could be like a makeup eradicator or makeup. Yes.
Why didn't they ask us? We could have helped them.
They lost out. If I'm a man that really is trying to buy products called war paint, if that's the thing that finally gets me to use makeup, I'm not going to go on there and be like, what? I want to buy moisturizer. I wanted war paint. I am just finally starting to learn the benefits of like actually taking care of your skin. We're thinking about it now. I don't really think too much
freaking
about
love
it.
skincare. Unfortunately, my skin actually does the best when I don't do anything to it. And it makes me, I try new things. Every time I try something new, because it's like dry, it ends up breaking out. I'm like, damn it. I just want to have a skincare routine. I can't.
I started getting, because I would go to like these like TikTok parties or whatever, and they'd have like the goodie bags that you would get.
Oh, you're fancy, huh?
Yeah, well, my fancy, these fancy famous influencer parties.
Oh.
They would give me things like war paint.
That'd be awesome, actually.
But they would give me like glow serum or random things. And I would ask my wife, I was like, "Do you want these?" She was like,
"What is
this?" She's like, "I have my own stuff that I don't.
Please, don't give me random shit."
I'd start just randomly using them, and for like they're the tiny little sample ones.
Yeah.
For the week that it would last, I'd be like, "This is I look amazing.
I'm glowing."
And so and every time they would run out, and I'd look how much it costs. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay that much.
Hell no.
Yeah,
it's expensive shit. It's very expensive, but it's like, I think men taking care of their bodies, their faces, every gender, but like men seem to be adverse to it. Taking care of their hair, like everybody should feel fresh and beautiful and glowy. It's this idea that men hate women so much and hate like femininity so much that they have to call makeup war paint to put it on. It's like, really? Like because it's like, I don't want to be associated. I mean, it's the same shit as like, have you seen like the manly strollers?
No.
Oh my God, hold on. Danny Gonzalez is a YouTuber he got one and I tested it out.
All right, while you're looking at that though, but even like you look at like Trump very clearly is wearing full body makeup.
Bronzer. He's bronzed.
Like the tanning, all those kind of things, but it's different. And
it's different.
It's exception.
That's man tan. Okay, so the brand is Tactical Baby Gear.
Why is everything military? Like,
it's like, it's not. Were you in the military or not?
Yeah.
Like, so the bags are like camouflage. One of them has a wait. No. Hold on. Hold on. One of them has. Say you were to buy their tactical diaper bag that looks like an army bag. You could also buy the tactical unicorn patch, which is a unicorn that has a military helmet on, seemingly like an AK-47 military rifle, and a skull tattoo.
Here's the thing, though. If this is what it takes for men to be a father to their children, sure. I guess.
Listen, big boy. Come here, put a helmet on.
I'm surprised if it's actually like a woman that created this company that's like, fuck, my husband won't fucking hold our child.
He won't hold a diaper bag.
Maybe if we said it's a man bag, it's a this is your your you put grenades on the outside of the diaper bag, and all of a sudden he'd be like, yeah, I'm holding grenades.
Oh my god, I have to hold on. Okay, here's the other patches you can put on your bag. You hurt her, I hurt you. Threatening, very threatening.
Wait, real quick. My favorite thing would be like this really insecure tough guy that's looking at like, I need these tough things. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna look at the patches section.
How do I make this thing even more masculine?
There's no way to like look at to click on patches and think, yeah, manly.
You would be surprised. They love to bedazzle. They just don't want to call it dazzling.
That's the point, though. I think it's like, yeah, they're fun. People want to have fun and enjoy themselves, but you are so freaking scared of what other men will look at you as, so you don't do it. Like painting your nails.
Let me tell you about the patches. Okay. God, please don't let me accidentally buy this diaper bag. God, guns, and dappers. Then they have, in the font of OnlyFans, only dads. What does that mean? Does that mean, because like if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, you have a channel.
Are you advertising?
It's OnlyFans, meaning the fans are the viewers. So if you're a dad and you have only dads, do you make content for dads?
Can we talk about real quick the God's gun? Wait, real quick, I want to come back to this. God, guns, and diapers. The word they replaced was country. So of those three that they had to replace, they're like, what's the most important thing? Well, guns.
God and guns,
number one.
baby.
God and guns, but I guess
Country
wouldn't it make more sense to be like God, diapers, and country instead of replace guns with that? Because
they're not getting rid of our guns.
They're not even good at being creative.
No, they really want to hold on to guns. That's what it is, Chesko.
But it would be like that's what you're holding. I don't know.
I can't believe you weren't more fixated on the only dads.
No, I want to go to only dads, but my brain was stuck on that first. I was like, why would you choose that one?
Chesko.
Yes.
This patch is $9. It has 108 reviews of 5 stars.
Oh my! Wait, the only dads?
Yes, there's 108 people that bought that. That is their most popular patch.
What is the message they think they're giving with having that on there?
They're confused because that would mean they're dads who make dad content for dads.
Yeah. Only for dads.
This is for the daddies.
I mean, only daddies.
It's like, I think they're like, that's sexual, put it on. Yeah. I need people to know that I'm a dad, but I'm still sexual.
That is so weird.
And I have a gun.
To be clear, nothing weird with anybody owning their sexuality and having a site like that.
That's not what that is.
No, that's not what this is. I think what's weird about it is because these are also the type of guys that would absolutely shame and hate on someone that did have an OnlyFans. Yes.
Oh yeah, like, but be their top viewer.
Yeah, but they're clearly spending a lot of money on that.
They also have in graffiti style. I guarantee you a white person would be the one to use this, but graffiti style font, Big Papa with a crown. They have Sleep is for the Weak. And say hello to my little friend with a baby who's wearing sunglasses and a big old water gun. Everything's tactical on this site, which is bizarre because I'm like, for what? What are you doing with your baby?
There's free plug right here, I guess. I've made videos about wearing nail polish before.
Sure.
And there's a company called Glossy Boys.
Oh.
And they make like these pen nail polish things for that don't look like nail polish on it. So it's an
Oh,
actual,
so you could have
so
it
that
in.
so that boys that want to wear nail polish can put it on without having to do things that are clearly like gendered for little girls to put on, or so they don't have to feel insecure about it or something.
I
So it's
love
kind of
that.
like, yeah, so that way it's an example of it where it's not where it's saying it's okay for boys to like this. It's not
Right.
necessarily saying this weird like and maybe it's the same goal of these things for men. I don't know, but that one feels more what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, more positive. It feels like
I
more
think
of like
that's more so people who want to express themselves are not going to run into trouble from people who don't want them to
right.
express themselves that way. You
I think it's
know?
an Australian yeah, they sent me a thing. They're like, hey, we really love that you're doing this. Here's can we send you some of
Oh.
our nail paints? And I was like, or sorry, our Glossy Boys, and they work really well. Highly recommended. If you have a boy, if any parents that want to wear makeup, this is not sponsored. I guess technically they sent me a product, so I guess I don't know if that counts as a sponsored, but they didn't ask me to talk about this.
I didn't get anything from it.
Yeah. Yeah, Reagan didn't get anything from it. Yeah, I liked it. They were like these little pen things. I use them sometimes when I paint my nails.
I have something fun for you.
All right.
Um, so apparently some men didn't like the idea of going to yoga, so they made their own version of that. Would you like to guess what that is called?
Broga?
Yes.
Is it?
Damn, you missed
Oh, man.
career in marketing for men.
Yep. That's what it is.
Broga. Yep. So they took this ancient practice.
I can't believe that's it. I was like, there's no fucking way that's
Broga is yoga class geared toward bros. Broga is a type of yoga that incorporates core strengthening, muscle toning, cardio, stress reduction, and functional fitness.
so yoga.
Yes! The goal of these programs is a peaceful, stress-free environment to help bros feel more balanced and connected.
So yoga.
So
It's
yoga!
just yoga. It's just that's all it is.
Get with the program, okay? Just get with it.
Hold on. Can we talk about this for a second? It's like, there has to be a market for it, right? They wouldn't have it if there wasn't a market. But I'm just thinking of like the guys that are like sitting there at home like, man, I'd love to do yoga.
God, I would
But
really
it's
love
just
to
only for girls.
center myself, even though there's like
Man.
men all over yoga,
It's
and like most of the
yeah.
yogis, a lot of the yogis, if not predominantly, are men.
And I have to
Dang.
spend time with women in an environment showing that I like something that they like. Oh,
Why
couldn't
can't
do
this be
that.
for the boys?
Yeah, there is a like a homoeroticism that comes up with so many of these things where it's like I need to only do these really in a lot of ways a lot more intimate things with other men. Like I need to be in this situation
I
with
mean, so I on F the Nice Guy podcast, I had Abby Jensen on. She's the host of the Rat Girls podcast, and she she was talking to me, and she's like, "Do you think like at some point it's just gonna get so far into men thinking that everything with associated with women is gay that they're just gonna start sleeping with each other to not be gay?" And I was like, you know what? It might. The guy, oh my God, who I hate, Nick Fuentes. So the guy, Nick Fuentes, who did that whole like, we own your bodies,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
lives in his mother's basement now.
Quick aside before you get into your point. I have a friend named Nick Fuentes, and he
That
hates it.
sucks.
It's just
It's
every
not
time.
me.
Yeah, he's like, it's not me. Stop. Anyways, go ahead.
For the love of
Nick.
God.
Nick's a good guy for the record, for what it's worth.
No, your friend is a good
My
guy.
friend, not this Nick. The
Yeah,
Nick
that
I
Nick is a
know,
piece of shit. And
all
also,
other Nick Fuentes are terrible.
Shout out to all the ladies that support their sons who do horrible fucking things to women and say horrible fucking things to women, and then you let them live in your basement because they're your little baby boys. Knock it off. Stop it. That's how it's facilitated. I promise you. When bad men do stuff, who do they turn to? Well, women, but usually their mothers. Anyways, that's just a personal note. I want to fight his mother, but I won't. Okay, I don't know if I can say that. Take that back. Anyways, Nick Fuentes, who is an incel, has, even though he kissed a girl in high school, and there's rumors he might not like women, which we know he doesn't like them, but he might not like them that way.
Right.
Literally said something to the effect of like, cuddling and trying to kiss your girlfriend and snuggling is so gay. Oh my God.
Ew, gross.
Ew, intimacy with women, yucky. And people listen to him. I'm like, honey, there's nothing gay about like a straight man and a straight woman cuddling and kissing. Like, he's like, ew, gross. Like, that's so, ugh.
What it comes down to is like it is genuinely sad though for these guys that are actually gay men that are just so, because of these structural forces in their life, whether it's their dad or figures in their life, could be their mom, could be church, whatever it is, that is enforcing that this is bad and this is, they can't feel it, that they end up digging in so hard to this I hate everything feminine for making me, and like, I don't know, it's so weird.
This is my opinion, okay? Yeah. And I have this opinion of any like privileged group or party, right? It's like, absolutely, it sucks to not be able to be out and not be able to be who you are because of people with prejudice, right? I mean, I as a gay woman, like, I totally empathize with that. But here's what the difference is. There are a lot of men who are probably queer in some way, who, because they have this like internalized hate for themselves and they're growing in misogyny, rather than admit who they are, they take that hate out on women. And that's fucked up. That's
absolutely fucked up.
It's not just, if it was just like, because I know plenty of, well, not now, but men who were closeted and who lived under that and hid who they were and never took it out on women. What they do is they take this hate and they're like, ooh, I know what'll really prove to them I'm not gay. I'll just hate on women. I'll, devalue them. I'll disrespect them. I'll talk down to them. I'll humiliate them. And then I'll prove I'm not gay. So it's like, in order to shield myself, I'm going to destroy women. And that is what we see so often. Like, they double down on misogyny. And it's horrifying to watch because, like, the effect is, I mean, like, you look at Nick Fuentes, like, he may be queer. He may be a queer person, but like, his hate of women, which now he's teaching to other men. You have this guy who's basically just a mediocre man. A mediocre, man in his 20s who now has visited with Trump, has literally sat and had dinner, like, was invited to have dinner with Trump because why? Because of his hate of women. Because he can't accept himself, supposedly, allegedly. I don't know. But it's horrifying. It's horrifying that men do that. They're like, well, I'll just sacrifice you. I'll just brew hate against you.
And to be fair, when I say it's sad, it doesn't mean it excuses the
I don't think you mean
the
that.
terrible things they,
but I think it is important to acknowledge because there is no point where that has to turn into that. Like if you are a victim of the patriarchy, you don't have to then continue that victimization. You don't have to become the villain. You don't have to harm people in the way that you're being harmed. That's unacceptable. I mean, it's the same thing with racism. Like, when white people feel they don't have power, they'll double down. They'll double down on racism and sexism. It's awful.
Yeah, I've talked about before a while back on videos, like, at what point, and this is not me asking the question because I don't think there is a tangible exact point for this, going to be different for everybody. Does it shift from this is how I was raised,
Mm-hmm.
to actively choosing to make the world a worse place, right?
Yeah.
Like to no longer being a victim of that, of your circumstances, and now becoming the perpetrator of violence towards your community. Like if you're a 16-year-old boy repeating the things that his dad says at home, then you're still young enough where you're it's not okay, but you are 100% still a victim of you, because you don't know any better. You've never been exposed to anything else. You're in your home with that person. At what part do we accept that it's no longer just victimhood, I guess, at that
I
point,
mean, I think the second you know better and don't do better, the
right?
second you witness the harm that you're doing, and if I'm being perfectly honest with you,
Hmm.
like in this age when there's so much social media, now
Yeah.
I'm sure someone could be siloed, where they're not
Hmm.
seeing other people and
Hmm.
that's all
Like
they're
algorithmically kind of
yeah,
sheltered into this
yes,
thing.
like they're
Yeah.
just seeing the same shit and they're
Hmm.
not being introduced to gay people, trans people.
Right.
But the idea that they would never see the side of it, never see the harm that comes of it.
Hmm.
I mean, I think pretty much as soon as you know people are being harmed by this, like
Mm.
I
And
think
not
you're
care. Yeah, and
culpable for
choosing not
that.
to care. Yeah.
I mean, even in teenage years, you're doing harm. My daughter's 4. If I showed her someone who is being racist, if I showed her someone being homophobic, she could tell you why that was bad.
Hmm.
She could say that that's not nice. That's mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe people don't like there may be some people who are siloed off. There may be some people who aren't exposed to other things, but like we know when someone's being cruel. We know when
Hmm.
someone's being unkind, and you have to at some point accept like okay, like even if my parents raised me this way, I can see the harm that's happening. I can see how cruelly
Hmm.
they're talking to people. And I'm not talking about like deep-seated internalized
Hmm.
racism that like you really have to I mean like there are people who actively are saying horrific things
Hmm.
and are perpetuating violence and very serious ways,
Hmm.
and they do know better. I don't
Hmm.
believe there's so many people who are like, oh well, that's just their beliefs. I'm like, no, not when you're doing active harm to people.
Well, I think about like with religion specifically. I think about like I was up to 16, still wanted to be a priest at that point. And I know, which is wild to think about, but like and you're right though. I did see the active harm that was before that. I was younger than that before when I started, when I remember I shared this story online before that definitely really hit me later on when I realized from when I had this memory of it. But like my mother's best friend was gay growing up. He was like my male role model. And I remember leaving his house one time, and this is like I was like 8 years old. This is before I realized, I was
Yeah.
at that point still, and I was like, it's sad that he's going to hell. And I
Ooh.
was like, and obviously my mom corrected, like she was,
Yeah.
didn't let that slide and everything. We didn't really get into all the follow-ups of that, but in my mind, I was like, and I was like, yeah, that's this person that loves me, this person that plays games with me, this person that
Yeah.
takes me for ice cream is still, because everything in my foundation around my life was telling me that that is okay to believe that certain people go to hell. They're still a monster, basically, that they
Yeah.
deserve it. Right.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, you do have to accept that you're breaking. So I saw that that was wrong, but I was able to reconcile it because this entire foundational framework of everything I had been taught
Hmm.
in Catholic school and church was still telling me that it's okay to think those people are bad. Right. And that
Yeah.
you do have to be able to break free from that at a certain point though, or else you end up
Yeah.
becoming.
Or you'll keep, yeah. Well, I
Mhm.
remember in high school, um, I lived in a very, like, not like a more upper class, very white area.
Mhm.
And I had a friend who lived, I think she was more towards the city. Anyways, and she, I don't remember what, we were like doing some stupid dance, something. I
Mhm.
don't remember what we were doing, but we went to like a party city. Do you have party
Mhm.
cities by you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And we were getting like supplies for that. And so she came into the store with me, and I remember like this store attendant was following us
Mhm.
and like really closely, and I was like, what is this person's problem? Like why are they following? Like it didn't even click what was going on at first. Because then I just turned to her. She was like a middle-aged white woman. Shocker, shocker. And I was like, I like asked for something that I didn't actually, or asked where something was. And then she was like, oh, it's there. And then she left us alone. And after I was like, that was crazy. Why was she following us? Like, and my friend was like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. That happens to me all the time. That's very normal. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, that is so fucked up. And I had never been followed in a store before.
Right.
And I was just like, damn, like that, like, I mean, this is a white person talking about this experience, like people of color, this is not a shock to them. But it was just so weird. Like the feeling of this lady like following us. I was like, the hell's like, what do you want? Like, and how often that happens. And like, I feel like that's around the age that you start to see the world. Like you are having experiences outside of your parents. And my parents weren't racist for the record. My parents are not racist, but like I hadn't seen how racist my environment was.
And I think that's the key though, is like that's why I said like teenagers is like,
yeah, I think it's teenagers.
It's hard to it's because, or why I think a lot of times that people that espouse this hate are against people going to college, right? They don't want you going there. It's because it's much harder to demonize someone when it's your roommate. Right? Or
100%.
when your group mate is this kind, loving person, you're like, whoa. But I was told that Muslims are evil.
Right.
I was told that Black people are this. I was told that gay people are X. I was told that women, I'm not, I guess women, you're going to be exposed to women. All these different groups that if you lived in a very, maybe a rural area or an area with not a lot of diversity, you're able to buy into all of the rhetoric, the negative rhetoric in that bubble. And when you go off to somewhere with more diversity, it's much harder to continue
to think
that's what
that
I would
way.
say. It's like, it's not as a college professor, I don't have time to espouse my beliefs onto my students. They have no idea what my politics are.
Yeah, sure.
When I talk about things, but it's not the professors that are making them radical. It's their friendships. It's simply meeting people that you get radicalized by
empathy,
by navigating the world with empathy and an open heart. And that's a very radical thing to do. And I think, and you're right, I think that's the point. When you're exposed to good people that contradict these things you might have been taught.
Yes, 100%.
You'll continue doing those things. That is that. And there's no age for that. That's just kind of a moment that can happen for some people, or for most people.
It's interesting when you say the woman thing, because like, as much as men like are, at the heads of patriarchy and are the ones in charge, like women facilitate it so much, especially white women. If you want to do especially like in the church, because like they will be just as bad and said it like, well, this is what a woman does, and like being the example of how women should behave and like how roles should be, and like not, if you report that something's happened to you, they'll be the first one to be like, shh, we don't talk about that. They shame other women for being like sexual, like they also facilitate that. So it's like, even if you grew up around other women, if they're women, this is an example, if they're women that haven't unpacked their internalized misogyny and are also very much invested into the patriarchy, and they're standing within whatever, it could be a church or whatever structure, they can be just as bad. So you could be around women and still never actually get a breath of like feminism, and not ever see a viewpoint outside of the patriarchy, which is crazy to think about. It's really crazy.
Honestly, that's one of the underlying things, aside from the monetary aspect of making a woman dependent on you in your marriage.
Yeah.
The idea of keeping her home and out of work is also because it's harder for her to be exposed to other people that think differently if you are able to, and essentially metaphorically and figuratively or like realistic, cage her in the home, and just allowing her to interact with people at the church and other people that have the exact same views. You're able to continue that facade even when it feels wrong, if you're not seeing literally anybody that is contradicting that. There was a video I responded to. This one guy said he won't allow his future wife to have a cell phone.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yikes.
the internet is the gateway to feminism, and but it's getting at the point though of like
Yeah.
see you want if you're able to see someone that has a better existence than
Yeah.
you, and you realize, oh well, there's a better life than what I have right now. I don't have to just be property. Then of course that's feminism in a sense of that's just human nature though to want better for yourself.
You should always be wary of groups that are trying to limit your access to the outside
Hmm.
world. Because
Hmm.
if someone's really founded in their beliefs and their beliefs don't rely on their inability to see other people and interact with other
Hmm.
people, then you could go anywhere and still
Hmm.
have the same beliefs. Like the way I feel about people and like
Hmm.
human rights
Hmm.
is that like I could go anywhere and I would still feel the same way,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But if your group wants to limit access to, it seems like a lot of times to the people that they have the harshest views about,
Hmm.
right? Um, then that's something to think about because like why would they want to limit access other than control?
Hmm.
Because I don't have a reason other than that. And I think a lot of people, yeah, they do have limited access to the outside world or at least outside perspectives. And I think at some point, I would say probably in your teenage years, unless you're like literally, somewhere where you don't have access to people.
Hmm.
That's the moment where you make a choice. And I think it is an active choice. If you decide to double down on misogyny, racism, whatever, I think you are choosing to do that because it's easier. I think you're choosing to do that because it's safer. And,
Hmm.
I think it gives people a sense of power who don't have that. We talked about that last episode, I feel
Hmm.
like, but it's an active choice and you can choose not to be that way too.
Hmm.
At any point, you can choose to make changes that are positive. And I get frustrated, particularly as a gay woman, when people are just like, well, that's the way I was brought up, and that's the
Hmm.
way it is, and that's how I see gay people, or whatever, whatever group they're hating on. Um, because I'm like, yeah, but you can choose to be different, and
Right.
you choose not to. You're not
Hmm.
choosing to grow or learn. You're not doing any work. Even
Hmm.
you could validate your own beliefs. I mean, you and I do research all the time that
Hmm.
validates how we
Hmm.
feel. Um, and maybe it would, but they won't even look.
You can be devoutly Christian and not be hateful,
Yeah,
right? I
100%.
know some of them, the most beautiful, loving, wonderful people I know are go to church every Sunday
Yeah,
and live very, very much. They have the strongest belief systems
yeah,
I've ever had. It's just they are willing to accept, I think, certain aspects of the world that is anybody that's willing to see it can see that
yeah.
there's parts of the Bible that we choose to ignore because they were,
100%. It's literally
you know,
like a pick and choose here. Like I'll take a
yeah.
scoop of this and a scoop of
Hmm.
that and ignore
And
this
so,
section.
unless you are going to follow every single
Yeah.
word, which is impossible because there are literal contradictions
Yes,
throughout the
there
entire
are.
thing.
That's why
And please,
literalists fight.
yeah, right. And that's why I was like, please don't take this as an insult on religion. What I'm saying is, it's just what it is. That's
Yeah.
there. It was written by men and put together by men. And if you want to believe that it was inspired by God, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But the fact is, the actual text that we have now is a highly edited version of whatever
I mean, it was
the original
translated.
text. It was
So
yeah,
there's
multiple
definitely,
times
yeah,
across, and it was remembered and told verbal. Many of
sure.
the stories were told verbally over centuries, to people. That's going to change and be by
Yes,
the imperfection of humanity.
sure.
If you believe it's real, if you believe it's divine, is still going to be tainted by the fact that it was told by the people who had power
Yeah.
at that point. And if you can accept that, oh, that must mean that not everything in here it should be taken at face value, you can still believe and still love everybody and still have a very happy life. And if I was still a religious person, that's kind of
Yeah.
the religion I would, because it's kind of what I started having, and the church I didn't like that, at least the people, and that's kind of what started
Yeah.
pushing me away. I was like, well, I don't have to believe that. And they're like, no, you do.
No, you
I'm
do
like, well,
100%.
no, I don't believe that, women should
Yeah.
be this way. I don't believe gay people are, I don't believe, and
Yeah.
they're like, well,
You got to go.
you have, yeah, that's so, but that doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that way. And I know there are churches that don't feel that way, different sects of religions, et cetera, that don't feel that way.
I
And
mean, you can even find Catholic churches that are not
right,
homophobic.
well,
At
absolutely,
the end of the day, to me, like religion aside, because that's a whole nother topic.
right,
But I don't understand how someone can be so hateful and feel aligned
Hmm.
with God. I don't
Hmm.
understand how someone can see people in pain
Hmm.
and people dying and people, kicked out of their homes and struggling
Hmm.
and a lot of times that don't believe what these people believe, like literally don't believe any of that's true, like and yet these people will condemn them and make their lives miserable based
Hmm.
off a religion they don't practice. Like
Hmm.
I when I see like videos of people screaming in gay people's faces, I've never had somebody do I have dealt with people who don't like gay people,
Hmm.
homophobic people. I have had some intense conversations, we'll call it that.
Hmm.
But I haven't had people scream at me like that. I think being a white femme presenting like lesbian, like they don't
Hmm.
usually come for me as badly as they come for, maybe someone who looks more queer.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people screaming in people's faces and
Hmm.
getting violent. And, I can't imagine in a family saying that to your child.
Hmm.
Like, I just don't understand how they can be filled with so much hate, visible. Like, it's so, it like permeates them. It's just like this
Hmm.
visceral hate and feel that that's godly and feel that
Hmm.
that's in alignment with Christ. Like I
Hmm.
don't understand that. And I think it's shocking to me that they don't feel the dissonance there,
Hmm.
I guess.
I
Um,
remember a story. This when I was in like sixth grade or fifth grade, somewhere in there, that I got in trouble. I was getting in trouble a lot back then. For thinking too hard, I guess. But I remember
yeah,
saying in class about because we were talking about how Christianity is the one is a bunch of
sure.
religion, Catholicism, blah blah blah, and blah 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 blah. Anyways, but I brought up. I was like, wouldn't it make more sense? Because we were talking about like, what if people that didn't have exposure to it, and they were
I've
explaining
had that one too. Yep.
and I was like, well, wouldn't it make more sense that like if there's one God that it was like his love and his teaching will come down in like a prism and like all these different religions or different aspects of
Mm.
we could still believe what we believe and still believe. And he was like, absolutely not. It was I remember him like genuinely
Get
looking at
out
me
of
like I
here.
had said though, and I'm like this little boy that
Yeah.
genuinely loves my religion at that point and trying to think, well, isn't that a way that other people could not be condemned to hell for
Yeah.
having belief systems that are different than ours? And they were
Yeah.
like, and this was I remember this priest. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a very just one of those old school
Yeah.
like harsh guys, and he was like absolutely. He didn't say those words, but the intent was, you blaspheme, like you like why the
Blasphemer.
you were gonna fucking say this in my classroom. And I remember getting in a lot, and I was like, I am never bringing that up
I
again.
did not know that would go that way. Well,
Yeah. I'm sorry for saying other people could be loved and not going to hell. It's yeah.
it's wild to me that people cannot see.
Hmm.
I mean, I used to be a lot more lenient with people who had homophobic beliefs that were
Hmm.
related to their religion,
Right.
because I have family members that genuinely super fun to find out that these family members I've known my whole life who would
Hmm.
talk to me and talk about my wife and comment on pictures of me and my daughter, were having secret meetings with other family members to try and get me and my other gay cousins like exiled.
Oh my God.
Great times. But
Thanksgiving's
anyways,
gotta be fun.
hey, oh, I'm not. You won't catch me at that
Yeah, yeah.
Thanksgiving unless they want to have a verbal sparring match.
Right.
But like, it's baffling to me why they were like, "Oh, we can be friends," and I'm like, "You right now,
Hmm.
if they're homophobic, okay, you think I deserve to burn
Hmm.
eternally for the rest of forever in the fiery pits of hell, the
Hmm.
worst punishment imaginable?
Hmm.
You right now believe that's what I deserve forever, and you think I should be your friend, and I shouldn't have a problem with that."
What's the issue?
But isn't that insane? In any
Yeah.
other context, if
Well, because
somebody,
what they want you to do, I saw a video that specifically laid out what they want, and it was two men, And I thought it was a parody video at first, and it made me so
Oh,
sad when I realized it
oh, it's
wasn't.
real.
I'll send it to you.
Ugh.
But it's these two. One of them is an openly gay man in the church saying he is choosing to remain celibate for the rest of his life and be married to God because he knows that if he were to act on his feelings, that it would be against an affront to God.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, I am going to remain alone for the rest of my life, and in order to appease God. And the other guy next to him was like, yes, that is what you do. That is exactly it. And I genuinely believed that I'm watching this video. I'm like, oh, this is funny.
This is a
Like
funny
these
sketch.
two gay men having a sketch about like how absurd this idea would be. And then there was no punchline. And I was like, just that's what they want. They want you to, if you know you are gay, then you are not allowed to have a relationship. If you truly not, and once again, not all religious people, right? But many of people that are, especially in the more stricter interpretations of it, that's exactly what they want. They want you to be alone and
Miserable.
miserable,
Yeah.
if you truly believed in what they believe.
Or get a lot of trauma. Because guess what? If you're gay and you're having to be with men, it's trauma. Take it
Right.
from somebody who knows.
Right.
But it's just wild to me because I feel like in any other context, if I like came up to you and was like, I think you should fucking burn. I think you should burn forever. I think you are a sinner and you're disgusting and you choose this and I hope nothing but the worst for you for
Well,
eternity.
you have green eyes. Ooh.
Yeah,
That means I just want you to know, I believe because of the color of your eyes, you're going to go to hell. So do you want to grab lunch?
if anybody else said that, you'd be like,
Hmm.
fuck you. Like, what? Like, fuck off. Like, no, I don't want to be your
Right.
friend. You just told me you
Right.
hope I suffer forever and am tortured because I exist.
Hmm.
Like, but gay people are kind of expected to be around people like that, even if they don't believe it themselves. Like, for the longest time, like, you're just supposed to be like, oh, okay. And hope you don't get in a conversation and share meals with people that want you to suffer for eternity and for existing. Meanwhile, you're not allowed to question that they choose to believe that because again, not everybody who practices that religion chooses that route or even thinks those things. Like it is a choice.
Right.
And also you choose what church you go to. You choose what you believe from the Bible because yes, people pick and choose and like I'm at the point, yeah. Especially this last election, where it's just like, no. I don't have to let you talk to me that way. Like I don't have to be nice to you when that's what you want for me and think I deserve. Like, sorry. Any group that's in power that's trying to take rights of other people, it's crazy how often the people whose rights they are trying to actively take and that they want to hate on and treat poorly and negatively affect their lives on a mass scale, that they're supposed to just be nice to them. And I feel like we're at the point where people are not going to do that anymore.
And speaking of things coming from the heavens and causing harm, this was our show about rain and not putting on your windshield wiper.
Oh! How did we get here? How did we get here? Well, yeah.
You know. Yeah.
We know how we got here. But
It's all connected to the patriarchy.
I mean, it is.
So,
it really is.
It is. It really is.
That's why people hate gay people. So exciting news on our side is we are planning an event in the LA area or on the 18th or 19th
Yes, of January.
of January. Of any month.
Of a month.
Of a month.
In the
We'll figure
future.
it out. No, of January, we're going to do like a live event. We don't have the details yet, but be on the lookout. We'll fill you in as soon as we have more information, but we're very excited.
We are. And we're hoping that at least 2 people show up.
Some of you, please come see us. Leave us a comment if you like us.
We'll do a live show. We'll do some other fun. We'll try to make it like an actual show, kind of show.
Show. Got it.
Like something. We'll have fun with it. And but if you're interested in something like that, let us know, and so that we can know if we should keep on going forward with it. So
let us know if you're interested, because if you're not, then we won't do it.
We won't do it. I'll make some polls on Instagram and stuff to see if there are people that actually want to go. But we think it would be really fun. Regan and I have never actually met in real life too, so it'll be actually kind of fun to meet each other.
I am so sure I'm gonna be thrown off by how tall you are.
It's
like
going to
I
happen.
genuinely am going to be like taken aback.
Yeah.
Ha!
Who is this monster?
This is behemoth.
I'm like I said, I'm a big guy too. It's not like I'm just like, there's certain people that are tall and they're like still kind of like
green beanie.
Yeah.
Green beanie.
I am a monster. It's hard to frame it with me on camera, but be prepared.
I'm like the most average sized. Like my height is like the actual average. So, but yeah,
and that goes for everybody that comes to the show as well. Be prepared. You're going to see this behemoth of a man on stage next to this teeny tiny woman.
Can you imagine if we don't meet until we're on stage and I'm like, oh my God.
We lose half our following.
I just mace you immediately. It's Chesko. It's
Sorry,
Chesko.
It was reflex.
I'm not around big men very often. Sorry. That's actually true, but I don't know. I don't think it's on purpose. I don't know that many tall men. Maybe it's a survival strategy, like just really deep down in there. Anywho.
Oh, and everyone, this is going to come out, I believe Thanksgiving week.
Is it
next week? Isn't it?
Oh
next week?
yeah, so happy.
So enjoy your family gatherings if you have them, and hopefully you don't have one where you're yelling at the table across from people that you hate.
And you know what? Enjoy your boundaries if you have those too. If you chose not to be around people that don't align with your values or treat you poorly, like hell yeah to that as well. And enjoy your either with your family or Friendsgiving,
your
chosen
night at
family
home with a beer. Or a glass of wine. That's also beautiful.
That's fine too.
Your piece is more important.
But we're if we had a Friendsgiving, we would invite you. But we hope you enjoy however you celebrate, and we will see you next week.
On the other hand, bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
I got some good advice for you. No, you don't. Like, no, you don't. Shit.